Is this still the best breakfast value at Disney World? Today we head to Ale & Compass at Disney's Yacht Club Resort to try their $28 breakfast. They recently changed up the menu and increased the price, so I'm here to see if it's just as good as before. A little over a year ago, I was here at the Yacht Club Resort raving about the breakfast at Ale & Compass. The unique thing about this meal is that for one set price, you get access to a Continental Buffet and can also order an entree included in that price. Now, the last time I was here, this meal cost $23. Since then, it's gone up $5, making this a $28 breakfast. Along with the price increase, they've also added some new, really interesting sounding eats, like chicken and savory waffles, as well as a new steak and eggs dish. I wanted to come out today to scope out the scene and let you know if this is still a good restaurant for you to visit for breakfast. So let's go head inside. All right, we've made it to our table, and this is probably the busiest I have ever seen this restaurant. Whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you can always find a reservation here. And today I had no issue, even though it's pretty busy. But it does look like the holiday crowds are still here, and everyone stopped in for breakfast before heading out to the parks for the day. We definitely have a lot to look over because, like I said, they kind of changed up the menu a little bit. They added some new entrees, and I'm seeing some stuff that I didn't even see on the menu online, so I want to take a look. Right off the bat on the top here, you'll see the Continental Enhancement, which includes one entree, one beverage, and then the Continental Breakfast Buffet, all for $28. Also, I want to mention, because I feel like this might be confusing, but you do not have to do the Continental Breakfast. Like, you could just order your entree as is. This is just an option that is there for you, but I always decide to do it. Skipping over the cocktails, down to the entrees here, they now have an American breakfast with some eggs, potatoes, Mickey waffles, some breakfast meat, the dark chocolate waffles, which are always a favorite. If you're a chocolate person or like a sweets for breakfast kind of person, those are really good. They have an espresso mascarpone cream on top. Delicious. Our first new thing of the day, the chicken and waffles. And like I said, it's a savory waffle, so it's really interesting. They have shrimp and white cheddar grits, which I think are new, as is the steak and egg dish. They also have this cheddar burger on the menu, which wasn't on the menu online. They have a quiche, the salmon flatbread, a plant-based protein bowl, a seasonal French toast, and then a crab cake Benedict. It's interesting that they now have the burger on the breakfast menu as well. And actually, I dined here a couple months back for lunch because everyone was raving about the burger that they serve here for lunch. And I'm sorry, guys, I did not care for it at all. I did not think it was good. But everyone seems to really love the burger, and I am sorry to say that they did kind of change the burger up a little bit here. It now has an egg on it and some avocado, so I don't know, maybe it's better than it was before. I'll have to come back for lunch and try it out. I won't be getting that for breakfast. I've got my eye on a couple of different things, and I'm definitely going to have a tough decision to make here because a lot of this stuff sounds really, really good. I told you I want to stick to kind of like the new things on the menu. I'm definitely thinking the chicken and waffles, and then maybe the steak and eggs. But if you kind of look at the entree options here, you'll notice a lot of like carby things, a lot of waffles, flatbread there, it's French toast, a lot of carbs on this menu, which I don't think makes much sense to get if you're going to do the Continental Enhancement, because there's a lot of carbs up at the buffet there. So I always like to go with things that are kind of like more savory, I guess you could say, just because we're going to have so many carbs on the buffet. So I always like to go with something that doesn't involve many carbs for my entree here, and also one that's like a little bit more expensive. I feel like if you're getting the waffles that are $16 or the American breakfast that's $17, it might not be as worth it as it would be if you got the $21 steak and egg or the $23 shrimp and grits. If you were interested in the French toast, though, the offering right now, it's a seasonal French toast. It's currently just a classic French toast, but then it's topped with like a pumpkin cream and also a cranberry compote. I was going to try it, but I asked if you could do like a half order, because a lot of times at like Disney restaurants, if you just want to try something like for breakfast especially, maybe it's just like a sweet or something, they'll let you order like a side of it. Or just like one piece. But here they said they could do that, but they would charge the same price, $16. So it didn't really make much sense for me, but I did just go ahead and place my order for my entrees. I did end up going with the chicken and waffles and the steak and egg, and I think now it's time to head up to the buffet there, and I'll show you guys what they have on the buffet. Now again, this is only a continental breakfast buffet, so keep in mind there's not going to be things like eggs and bacon and stuff up here. It's going to be a lot of pastries, some fruit, some yogurt. I think they also usually have some biscuits and gravy and some cinnamon rolls up here that I always really enjoy. So let's go take a look. Starting off, we've got a little parfait station here. They have some strawberry yogurt and then some plain Greek yogurt here, as well as some overnight oats that you could also top with all the toppings for the buffet. They've got some honey, some chocolate chips, some blueberries here, some granola with nuts, and then they're throwing in some deviled eggs at the end. Next up, you've got the good stuff. Look at this, the cheese biscuits. Yum, those look so good and kind of golden on the top. There's also some sausage gravy to pour on top. And then, yeah, this is what I'm talking about here. Some warm cinnamon rolls with all that icing on top, and then some buttery croissants. Continuing along, there is some apple cinnamon bread, some strawberry jam, some butter, some grape jelly, as well as looks like some assorted pastries here. Maybe an apple turnover there, and I don't know, that one looks like it might be blueberry. And then we've got some blueberry muffins and some fruit, some watermelon, strawberries, pineapple, and grapes. Now this is what we're working with for round one. I'm probably gonna go up and try a couple more things, but these are the main things that I wanted to get to. So we've got some biscuit and gravy, we've got some of that apple cinnamon cake there, a cinnamon roll, a blueberry muffin, and then some overnight oats. And first up, while it's still warm, I want to get into this cinnamon roll here. They don't skimp on the icing either. There is a bit of icing on here. It doesn't look like it's cream cheese frosting. It looks more like a royal icing, but we'll try it out. Definitely on the drier side, but there is a ton of cinnamon flavor, and that icing on top really kind of helps with the dryness, I guess you can say. The cinnamon roll itself is almost like a brioche. That's kind of what it tastes like there, but I always enjoy the cinnamon rolls here. Our next warm thing on the buffet, that cheddar biscuit with sausage gravy. There, we got a ton of gravy on our biscuit. Let's try it out. Getting a ton of that cheddar flavor in there, which I really, really love. The sausage gravy itself is just delicious. It's extra creamy, has that great sausage flavor, almost maybe even a little bit of chorizo in there. It's a little bit smoky, which I really enjoy. The biscuit on itself would probably be a bit dry, but once you kind of smother it in all that gravy, similar to the cinnamon roll, that definitely helps out. And the biscuits and gravy here is always so good. That's why I love getting biscuits and gravy on a buffet, because you could just add as much gravy as you want. And I always overdo it on the gravy. Next up, the blueberry muffin. Pretty standard blueberry muffin, honestly, nothing really that special. But onto this apple cinnamon bread here. Now, Disney just does these like breakfast loaves right. Every time I stay club level at Coronado, at the resort there, in the club lounge for breakfast, they always have so many like breakfast cakes, and they have like a coffee one that is just to die for. They're always so good, and this looks very similar to the ones that they have up there, so I hope it tastes as good. I'm telling you, Disney breakfast breads are where it's at. It seems like no matter where, they're gonna be good, and this apple cinnamon one is no exception. Alrighty, final thing I got on this plate here is some overnight oats. I topped it with blueberries and honey. I'm usually not an oats person, but I don't know, this kind of like stood out to me and looked really good, so I wanted to try it out. Unfortunately, guys, I just don't care for oatmeal. Like, oatmeal is one of those foods that I try to like. Every time it's like on a buffet or something, I try it out. Like at Boma, like everyone raves about, I think it's like the coconut oatmeal. I always try it because I want to like it, because it always looks so good and it looks like a nice, start to your day. But I don't know what it is. I just don't care for oatmeal. Like, it's not that I won't eat it. It just, like, I would never, like, choose it. I don't know. It's just one of those foods I just do not care for, no matter how many times I try it and how much I want to like it. It's not bad, and I'm sure if you like oats and overnight oats and stuff, you would really enjoy this. It's just not my thing. Outside of all of the stuff that I showed you guys, they also used to have like smoked salmon, like a smoked salmon station on the buffet there. They used to have like salmon and bagels and all that kind of stuff to make like bagels and lox. They kind of took that away. I believe that came away with COVID. I don't think they had it here last time I was here, but I kind of wish they did. Do you guys remember that? And do you remember the buffet that they used to have at formerly the Wave, which is currently Steakhouse 71, they used to have the best breakfast buffet, and I used to love coming. It was always between here and the Wave because the buffets and the value was just so good, and they used to get like a whole entire breakfast buffet for $23 over at the Contemporary. It was so good. They had like everything on there. They had Eggs Benedict, they had Mickey Waffles, literally everything you could think of, bacon, oh my gosh, the sweet potato pancakes. Who remembers the sweet potato pancakes over at the Wave? That is one thing, as much as I love Steakhouse 71, that is one thing I really, really miss. The Wave's breakfast buffet, $23 breakfast buffet. It was the best value. It was honestly like my favorite breakfast ever. I think the buffet is still kind of in the back of the restaurant. I don't know. I think they probably use it for like a server station now. But I wish they would bring that back. I love Steakhouse 71's breakfast now, don't get me wrong. But man, the Wave's breakfast buffet. This place always kind of makes me remember that. As I'm kind of finishing up with my Continental Buffet here, I want to mention that a soft drink is also included. A juice, a coffee, a tea, or a Diet Coke, in my case, is included with the cost of your buffet. So that definitely adds a bit of a value. If you're gonna if you plan on getting coffee or a drink with your breakfast, you honestly might as well just upgrade to the Continental option there. I'm not sure if previously, when this was only $23, if a drink was included. I can't remember. Let me know in the comments, but if it wasn't, I'm glad it is now. Oh wow, that looks good. Yes, here as well. Thank you so much. Okay, this food here is looking really good, especially the steak and eggs, which I'm definitely going to get to shortly, but I do want to start with the chicken and waffles here. Now, I feel like this dish has the potential to be amazing, and it also has the potential to be disgusting with the savory waffles. I just don't know how this is gonna go. I'm really, really hoping it tastes good, so let's try this one here first. This here is the chicken and waffles. It has crispy fried chicken with savory waffles and a cranberry maple syrup for 20 bucks. We do have a big piece of the fried chicken on here, and then 3 kind of mini waffles underneath. I wish they were Mickey waffles, but I'll let it slide this time. They also did already pour the cranberry maple syrup on there for you, so you don't kind of get to pour it yourself, so keep that in mind if you didn't want to get the syrup, or if you wanted to pour it yourself, just ask for it on the side. All right, let's dive in. I'm not sure to expect what to see here when we cut into this waffle. I guess I see some herbs in there. It does kind of look like, I guess, maybe like stuffing on the inside of that waffle. Let's just try this waffle here on its own first. I know they say these are savory waffles, and they definitely are, but there's also like a bit of sweetness. I'm not sure if maybe the sweetness is coming from the maple syrup on top, and it totally does kind of taste like stuffing. It tastes like Thanksgiving here. That's really, really interesting. I love the creativity with it. And I definitely don't hate the waffles, but I want to try some with the chicken. All right, we've already got our bite of waffle here. Now we have to kind of get into this chicken here. Looks like it's not that crispy. That could be because the kind of syrup is already poured over top, but we'll try out this bite. The breading on the fried chicken itself is very peppery. I also feel like they maybe brined the chicken itself in some pickle juice. I taste a little bit of pickle juice kind of in there. The breading did not stay super crispy because they did pour that syrup over top, which I kind of wish they did give you on the side, but the pieces that are crispy are really good. I think they're using like a chicken thigh in here, so the chicken is really, really juicy. I just ate a piece of the breading on its own, and I definitely really enjoy the breading to this chicken. Now, is this a dish that I would ever get again? Probably not. It's not something that I would like necessarily go for. I just wanted to try something interesting. And like I said, I do definitely enjoy it. I do think, however, I would have preferred just like this piece of chicken here with like Mickey waffles, you know? And I wonder if you can kind of substitute it. And it's definitely something interesting to try. Like I said, I appreciate the creativity with this, but it's probably not something that I would necessarily like go back for. And as I'm kind of eating more of the chicken, I'm noticing like I'm not quite sure how the quality of it is, because it's very like there's a ton of like really wet pieces of batter and it's kind of like a little bit fatty. I'm kind of having to like dig around some of the fat, which isn't necessarily something that I want in breakfast. Like you see all that kind of like batter in there. While juicy, maybe not like the best quality piece of chicken that they used in this dish here. And I do think I definitely prefer the chicken and waffles. If you're looking for good chicken and waffles at Disney World, you gotta go to the Grand Floridian Cafe. They're serving up a giant, extremely crispy chicken on top of a giant Mickey waffle, and that is like the standard for chicken and waffles here at Disney World. I'm trying to think of where else you could get chicken and waffles. Nothing's ringing a bell. I know you can get like chicken and donuts over at Homecoming in Disney Springs, but definitely nothing like this with the savory stuff. And man, it's really like stuffing in there. You can kind of see all the rosemary and like thyme sprigs. Interesting. I'm glad I tried it. But I definitely think I'm going to enjoy this steak and egg dish a little bit more. This has sirloin steak, a poached egg, red fennel hash, and a brown butter hollandaise for $21. All right, let's check out this egg. Now, it has been sitting on my table for a while, so if it's not perfectly runny, that is why. But man, that is it's not even a bit runny. That is now turned to over hard. I don't know how it was. Like I said, I can't fully judge because it's been on my table now for a while, but it is no longer nice and runny. But let's see how this steak here is cooked. I did ask for it medium rare here, and it looks like they've cooked the steak better than they cooked it at Takumite the other day. So at least there's that. Seasoned well, nice and tender. Almost a little bit sweet. It looks like there's some type of maybe cranberries in the like hash here that's making it a little bit sweet. I really enjoy that, and I already know y'all are typing out your comments. How could you eat hollandaise and not mayo? It's the same thing. It's literally not, though. The ingredients are different, so. I like hollandaise, guys. Sue me. It's not mayo, at least in my eyes, so stop trying to make me think it is. The hash. The hash has a good flavor, but kind of similar to the chicken. It's just kind of sitting in a bunch of sauce, so it kind of got a little bit soggy. There are some chunks of, it looks like maybe either like pork belly or corned beef in there, and then like I said, almost maybe some, are these beets or cranberries? I'm not exactly sure what that is there on the end of the fork. And I also like these big chunks of whatever kind of meat this here is. Like I said, it either might be some type of like, maybe it's brisket. I don't know, but it's good. Just a little bit soggy though, but this is definitely more my speed with the steak and eggs. And how much was this? I think it was like 20 bucks. $21. This steak here is quite big and of good quality for only like a $20 steak and egg dish. So I would get this one here again. We're kind of nearing the end of breakfast. I believe it's 11:24, and I'm kind of wanting maybe a little bit of fruit to end the morning. So I'm gonna go see if they still have all the food up at the buffet. Yeah, everything is still here. They haven't really removed anything, so I'm gonna get myself some fruit. All right. I couldn't resist the biscuit, guys. Can't resist the biscuit, but I did also get some fruit, but mainly the biscuit is the most important. I definitely appreciate that they're not really like rushing the breakfast out of here. Sometimes with like buffets, they immediately take everything off the buffet line, but I guess not here. Breakfast does end at 11 o'clock. I believe the last reservation is probably around like either 10:50 or 10:55, and then lunch starts at 11:45. So if I had to guess, they probably take the buffet stuff out around like 11:45 or 12, but they're definitely not kind of rushing you out here. You're gonna always have time to get some more stuff from the buffet. Well, breakfast was certainly very tasty, and going to the Ale and Compass for breakfast is a great place to go to get a lot of food for a really good price. And although they did up it, so it's $28 now, not $23. I think $23 was an actual steal. I can't believe it stayed $23 for as long as it did, honestly. I still think it's a decent value. You know, I got steak and eggs, a drink, and then a bunch of fruit, pastries, the biscuits, the cinnamon rolls. For $28, I think that is a pretty good price. Most places around Disney, you could get a breakfast for between like $15 to $20. But then once you add the drink, you know, it always ups it a little bit more. So I do think $28 is still a good value for that breakfast at Ale & Compass. Now, is this necessarily a place that I would come out of my way for? No. I feel the same way about lunch and dinner as I do with breakfast. It's not somewhere that I'd necessarily go out of my way to eat, but if you're staying in the boardwalk area and you could kind of walk over here for breakfast, or if you're staying at the Yacht and Beach Club, it's definitely a good place to check out, and you definitely should check it out one morning on your Disney trip. But in my personal opinion, if I was staying at, say, like Animal Kingdom Lodge or wherever, any other hotel, I wouldn't come out of my way to come to this restaurant. Now, a restaurant I would go out of my way to come to breakfast is just across the lake over there, Trattoria Al Forno. I think in the last year I have become obsessed with that restaurant, not only for dinner, but for breakfast as well. I think their breakfast is actually the best at Disney World. And when Ale & Compass is kind of competing with that, that's just across the way. I could actually kind of see it. It's pretty funny. I just think Trattoria is the better option. That's somewhere that I would come out of my way for if I was staying at a different resort or whatnot. Ale & Compass, it's good. It's just not worth the trek. So yeah, that's gonna do it for the new menu at Ale & Compass. Let me know if you've been here recently and what you kind of think of the new menu and the price increase. Like I said, I still think it's a good value, and I'd definitely come if you're staying here. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to all of my Patreon subscribers for supporting the channel, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Bye.